What's up, world? What's up, Zion? It's Prince Easy coming at you again once more. And as usual, I do have a couple of slides that I want to share with you in this fine Sunday here. Alright. As you can see where I'm at, it is 9:05 in the night. So, him or her can't even tell anymore. And Ariana Grande, right? The symbolism is familiar. I think we done had conversations about this stuff, right? They are playing out a scenario between the marriage between the prince and the whore, right? You remember that Kendrick video we covered, right? Luther, right? And also this situation here, right? This guy here, Annie Lee, is beefing with this guy, right? And you can see they are polar opposites, right? And it's the same thing with this person here, right? She picks up the Christ-like, and Ariana Grande, she's more of like a proud witch or something, right? So the symbolism goes on, right? It's the Masonic game that they are playing here, right? They actually believe that this is a tie or something, right? Yin and yang, all of that, right? So the checkerboards, right? Those in the black checkerboards having problems. On the white checkerboards, happy. And this is not even the only video that he does this, right? It's not about the beef, and I'm somewhat glad people are catching up, right? Especially there's this one video he starts with the Bible verse flashing, right? Starts with Genesis, and of course he goes on to point out that the new earth is coming, right? And they want to be in it, but whatever they're doing is so good, apparently, for them to stop, right? So they keep playing games, wanting to keep both, right? Wanting to keep both. Well, the light and the darkness, again, cannot coexist. By principle, they evacuate each other, right? Not each other, but one of. So yeah. So like second failure. Because people are not gaining actually nothing. We're not giving people anything. Not peace, not the Israeli-Palestinian state or recognition thereof, but still you're expecting to be given something. But hey, what do I know? These are your people here, right? Well, that did take long, and I'm not really glad that it turned out like this. No, it's because at the core of all of those negotiations, the reality has not been faced yet. Me, myself, I'm still gathering information. I think I've shared some of what I've gathered in a previous video. I don't know which video specifically. Can't even remember at this point. So I'm waiting and seeing and going to the root, right? Look at this. All this is what they all do. They throw money at every problem they see. Okay. Well, in this conflict that the world is experiencing, that is edging the West and the East to a closer conflict, or rather closer to conflict, France has been nothing but idle. Or the other way, which is it? Has France been idle all of these 3 years, for instance, in Ukraine? No, it hasn't. In Africa? No, it hasn't. There's literally a spy in jail right now, a French citizen who is a spy for French intelligence, caught up in the AES, doing what? Protecting French interests. And now they are saying that we were idle all of this time, we were idle. Well, we won't wait for you to fully wake up, okay? Because if all of that you have done was you being idle, then I don't know what would it mean for you being actually active. So we are not interested to discover that, okay? And of course, these are the statements given by this warmonger here. And let's not forget, how about the Middle East? Has the French government been idle? No. Cannot catch a break, huh? Well, whoever came up with this ingenious idea, self-harm. No, you have to live to fight another day. At this point, your days are counting down, and that's not productive for the cause, nor for you at the end of the day. Okay? Well, you should have a serious conversation. I remember when that law hit, I covered it here. And I think KTN was the source or something, right? They were talking about, right, that it is illegal to share seeds and all of this. And basically there was a invisible hand performing a chokehold on Kenya's agriculture. And now they're just out of nowhere pivoting without even really inquiring or asking whose interests was that whole law protecting. That is what you should be concerning yourself with. And if you're not having that conversation, then it's gonna come back again. Saboteurs. So we have rebels, right? And then we have who? What is the other word? I've forgotten it. And now we have saboteurs of peace, because that's what OSA is doing here, right? Fighting for peace and stuff, you know. So, also in Doha, the Arabs are taking responsibility. Well, another familiar name we have seen before. Well, let's see what he has to say, right? He says, the Europeans are their closest allies and they have common enemies, right? At least that's how it has been in the last 80 years. We need to stick to this. Okay, we need to stick to this, right? This is the only reasonable strategy for our common security, unless something has changed, right? So again, they are confirming what people have been speculating, that this European Union and NATO, all of these things are all force entities created for only one purpose, and that is to basically create fictitious enemies so as they can plunder, right? And even garner for themselves more power, right? So I don't know, right, what has been happening for the last 80 years that is so good for Europe that they need to stick to it, right, and basically reject any change that is coming about in the world as we speak. Yeah, raiders do that. They lock onto flying aircraft, fast flying aircraft, and not just a commercial aircraft, a military aircraft, right? So yeah, you're gonna be painted. Well, again, as usual, they are throwing money at their problems. This is just a waste, right? This is just a waste, right? You think you can just clean that or pay for your image to be reimagined or something, and we are seeing the efforts, right? Erasing footage, censorship, forcing governments to create laws against the Palestinian and people who support the Palestinians. We are seeing what this amount is doing, but I'm afraid it's not going to be enough. Well, this is what they call the EU financial mechanism plan for the Ukrainian loan. All right? So we have Euroclear, we have Russia, we have Ukraine, we have EU, we have ECB. Right? And it is basically an entire mechanism. Right? So Euroclear, cash flow of assets go to ECB and then to the EU, and then the EU gives it to Ukraine. Right? And then feedback. Right? There's a feedback. If Russia compensates Ukraine, then repay the loan. But what if it doesn't? Right? And of course, we have this other direction, Euroclear asset liabilities, right? EU sanctions on Russia, central bank assets. As long as sanctions in place, Euroclear assets equals liabilities. Wow, such a sanction to be rolled over without backing by all EU 27. Basically, you can interpret it how you see it. I'm just here to show you, right, how they are planning to steal sovereign assets. Yeah, this is what is happening in Hungary. And this is what you gotta do. Like I said, you have to do what you gotta do. The war is gonna be extremely limited. It's not gonna be everybody fleeing poop at each other. No, that's not how it's gonna play out. So again, I asked, have you people done everything that you can do? Right? Have you done everything that you can do to stop this disaster? Right? That is slowly being conjured up and made to manifest by these EU elites. There is a condition and it's well known, and of course it is extremely ignored. Right? So the president of Syria saying this, right? Again, fighting against ghosts, just like the EU. This is the common theme again. When you talk about Europeans, it's a common theme, right? So the Ukrainians are fighting ghosts, right? And that has cost them 1.7 and counting million peoples. NATO is fighting a ghost, and it exists to fight ghosts. That's the only way it has been, like my good buddy over there, Tusk, said. For 80 years, that is what they have been doing, right? So in the case of the Middle East, make that 70. Am I wrong or right? That has been their policy, and for them it has been working so well, so effective, right? They have seen their reputation internationally be esteemed. This is a joke, right? Socialism has always been the way, right? Me personally, I never really understood, when the elders who are doing politics here in Tanzania were talking about socialism. Right? It was a weird concept to me, and somewhat I felt repulsed by it, But I grew up and I understood, right, that all of this is because all of this chaos that we see, the hunger, the wars, there are some people who are just not even selfish, too selfish, right? And they are dangerous to our civilization. Right? They're dangerous. And here we are, right? We have given them more powers by adapting the way they live, the way they do stuff, the way they perceive the world, most importantly. They perceive the world as if it's, I don't know, about to collapse, not even end. For them, it's more like a collapse. So they scramble and fight to have reserves, right? Expecting to rise to the top at the end of this. Right? That's what it has always been about, right? So again, I had to learn that can find security in others. That's the only true security right there. Right? If you want to secure your wealth, then don't have poor people around you. That is a sure way to secure wealth for now and in the future. But again, people have to learn that the hard way. Well, you have to look at the video to see it and hear the conversations, right? These idiots are, as usual, they're out here scamming, right? They're using China and that AI cyber attack we covered a couple weeks back. Remember that? So they're using these two as a crutch, saying China poses a security threat, and of course we need to invest more money, right? And they go into specifics, right? And their focus was on chips, right? They say they want to deny China access to fabricators, or I don't know, manufacturers of chips, right? Because they admit that China can design, but they cannot fabricate, apparently, right? And then they went on to say we have to deny them components, we have to deny them sales of cards and stuff like that, right? And in nowhere in that conversation did they admit that China has better coders, people who can code more and more effectively and more intelligently, right? This is what this is about. This has nothing to do with hardware. Okay, hardware at this point is irrelevant. It is all about the software component of this, right? This has been the success for softwares like DeepSeek, right? Being able to run models in even weak machines, because it was not so demanding and it was built upon accessibility and the foundation of not having the most powerful chips. But again, they didn't have conversations about that. They just say China is somehow behind us when it comes to chip technology, but ahead of us when it comes to AI. So these are the CEOs, apparently. It's a common trend, a familiar trend. Let's just say that. You can look it up yourself. Well, this type shit here, this is why people have self-esteem issues. People have cut up their faces to insert plastic stuff in there because of this nonsense. Okay, this superficial standard of beauty, right? This is like freaking concerning. That this is somehow they felt comfortable to share this South China Morning Post here. Are Singaporean Chinese the least attractive? Viral image stare beauty debate. Like 2025 in the month of December is a good time to have a debate about protruding jaws and rounded noses. So much needs to be done over there. And one of the things that need to be done immediately, my recommendation, get rid of filters. Get rid of them. These beauty filters, yeah, they have gone too much. They are overboard. They are creepy. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. People need to get back to reality. Right? Stop role playing. People are like role playing their whole life. Right? It's supposed to be a moment For crying out loud, people that turn it to a lifestyle now, right? We have entire internet personalities with literally just fake faces, you know, and when this software break down, people get shook, right? Just like I heard somewhere, the, the men were so creepy taking images of women in secret that they had to make it a law and implement it at a system level not to be able to disable the shutter sound as a protective mechanism. This is just a patch, you know. It's a patch. The real issue is, why do they prefer to do that than to talk to people, right? Why do they do that? But this is not cool, right? This is just my opinion. This is not cool. This is weird. Okay. Well, money is the solution in this whole like institutions that we call modern relationships, right? Money solves everything, literally. So they are just leaning on to what people are projecting, right? And using that to make money, right? Basically reaffirming their biases. It ruins everything, yes, but it is what it is, right? If you have money, you're not lame, right? People just praise you. That's the truth. They'll just praise you, no criticism whatsoever, just praises. Where does the lame aspect come from then? You know, they're living in a whole golden bubble and stuff, right? Golden toilets and stuff. That banner is just saying name. Huh? Of course, I would give the same remark of not being idle. You have actually been active participants in wreaking havoc all over the world, everywhere. Europeans. Yeah. People are giving each other reality checks and stuff. But again, it's quite easy to rebrand it as a, you know, this is, Putin propaganda. You know. Yeah, you need to gather them guns. There's so much guns in those streets, and when they exist, they are gonna be used, right? Peace instead of evil. Wow, the nerve of this guy, right? This the same person that is saying this, brothers and sisters, has a whole huge ass image in his meditation, whatever, of the Kremlin on fire. Like, I am shook. I am deeply shook and concerned that there is seriously something wrong with these people. They either have a really short memory, or they just think the whole world is stupid, right? And they're doing some interesting magic trick that I don't know, no one can catch on, right? I am struggling to find, I'm struggling to find the answer, right, to why are they such hypocrites, right? These Europeans, it's crazy. It's crazy work to me. Right? They like not taking accountability whatsoever. Hmm? Silence instead of strikes, right? Ceasefire, and of course, and peace. But first, ceasefire, then peace. Yeah, good luck with that. Right? But still, he has a vision. India, that's what's up. Yes, ma'am, or sir, they are addicted to war, and they cannot, for their own sake, even to save their own selves, close all military bases abroad. They can't. Look at America, right? Musk over there was with the chain store and not chain store, chainsaw, and he had that guy from Argentina who wanna be a Jew so bad. They were chopping up budgets and stuff, but not that one. This is what they're up to, you know. This is what they're up to. They are deepening. They are deepening defense. Just like they deepen defense in Ukraine, they deepen defense in Africa, they deepen defense in the Middle East, so-called. Right? They're just deepening defense everywhere. You know, they have the money for this. You know what these things are called? They are called drone food. You know what drone food is? Or for instance, do you know what a lancet is? Do you know how this column could be wiped out within half an hour? Half an hour is too much, right? It's too much. That is just like when these three things here step onto the battleground, it's gonna take half an hour for them to be scrap metal. And Poland thinks that, you know, they are ready for war. This has to be a joke, you know. Somebody's just leading you out to slaughter, you know, and you need to wake up. This is not a joke, okay? Well, you need to listen to the intellectual dishonesty of this whole conversation here, right? Again, you are wealthy because some other people were poor, right? France, Germany, England, you became what you are because of somebody else's pain, right? And now these somebodies are taking back what is theirs, and now you have a problem because that pain is coming back, and now you are, I don't know, depending on the delusion, right? That everything is gonna be okay. No, no. You need to change your attitude, and these Nobel laureates here, they are lying. Right? They are lying to you. Right? That Europe that you knew is, like they said, for the last 80 years, dead and gone and buried. Okay, stop being barbaric and fighting for resources and pretending like you're not. There's so much for everybody to share without any problem for years. But again, you wanna dominate everybody and everything, you know. yeah, and me just a pawn, an asset you can move around and stuff for your own leverage. Well, anyway, brothers and sisters, I don't have all the latest news, but that's all I had up to then. So whatever has popped up since then, we're gonna cover in the next episode. So yeah, that's all I had to share with you as of now. Prince Easy signing out. Love you. Bye.